insider, analyst, Emmy Award winner, friend of the program, New York Knicks super fan. Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Schrager.
Yeah,
Schrags, okay, so we saw Florio say, as previously explained, which was him saying, you should have seen this or known this a long time ago. The Bengals are trying to put in a new clause into Shemar Stewart's contract. This has not happened with previous Bengals draft contracts, is how Florio's reporting it. Have you heard anything out of this? And what are your thoughts on this? I thought the CBA regulated exactly how much everybody's getting when. I guess that's not the case, Schrags.
Well, it used to be the assumption the last several years that where you're drafted is kind of what you're paid. So the idea of a rookie holdout would be completely illogical. You're going to get paid what you're owed just based on the structure of it. Now, I think Shemar Stewart's agent's an interesting guy. Zach Hiller's his name. He's also James Cook's agent, and he was Dalvin Cook's agent. And he's a young cat. He's about 30 years old, and he kind of beats to his own drum. And he's saying what he's saying. And the Bengals are saying what they're saying. And if you're going to take it for its word, you would look at the Bengals' handling of the Trey Hendrickson situation and say, well, that seems pretty unorthodox as well, and a little unkosher with how that's being done. But they weren't just going to take the deal that was given to Shemar Stewart. He hasn't stepped foot on a practice field, and that was including rookie minicamp, and that's including this minicamp. And guess what? Training camp's right around the corner, and you almost think you draft the 17th overall pick as a defensive end and a physical freak to be the guy who could ultimately replace Trey Hendrickson. And there seems to be contract issues with both of them. Not the case in 31 other training camps, but it seems to be the case in Cincinnati.
Okay, so we see where Schrag sits in this entire thing. For that last statement, a lot of Bengals fans are saying, why you guys got to bury us? It's like, because this shit does happen with you guys.
All the time.
And it seemingly doesn't happen anywhere else. Now, would Duke be able to take care of it? I assume when push comes to shove, this will all get sorted. This will all get figured out. Like, I think the Trey Hendrickson deal will get figured out. Like, I think so. That will happen. I think there will be some sort of agreement. Or maybe he gets traded. I think there will be a decision that gets figured out. Shemar Stewart has to be on the field for training camp. I mean, this isn't even like number 17 overall. I feel like they get it figured out. Why do these teams continue to push things down the road, though? Now, I guess we could say Shemar Stewart could have taken a deal earlier, too, so we could put blame on him. But let's look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. We always talk about Aaron Rodgers being there, Cam Hayward putting things together, T.J. Watt missing minicamp, Terry McLaurin missing minicamp. There's a lot of guys that are missing minicamp for one reason or another, most of them just business reasons. What are your thoughts on how some of these teams handle things? And when you look at these guys, what do you think is probable outcomes for any of them?
Well, I really appreciated Mike McDaniel's candid honesty today, saying Jonnu and Jalen aren't there, and I don't have updates on the trades, and it's unfortunate they're not there because of business. And for Jonnu Smith's case, it sounds like he was sick and tired of hearing his name mentioned in trade talk, so I'm not going to come to this. McLaurin, obviously, contract situation. Stewart, rare rookie deal. Hendrickson, contract situation. Then we got T.J. Watt. You had J.J. in there a week ago, and J.J. Watt was like, I'm not talking on this. Obviously, something's brewing. T.J. Watt probably saw the offseason in which Myles Garrett got paid what he got paid, saw some of these other top pass rushers being paid, and says, well, what about me? Fortunately, he's got years left on his contract. Fascinating when you get these that go and bleed into this, because the last thing you want is for it to dominate your training camp. And that is what the 49ers have had the last several years. So this year, they decided to nip it in the bud and pay their guys, Purdy, Warner, Kittle, before we even get to this point. It's two different strategies. Do you play hardball? Do you play chicken? Do you let this thing drag on as a team? Or do you say, well, we want you. You want to be done. Let's get it done now so we can avoid any drama heading into the season. I believe a lot of 49ers people thought what was going on with Brandon Ayuk last year, that bled all the way into late August, had a direct response to how the season went because everyone was dealing with that all summer. So to me, it's fascinating how these front offices work. Omar Khan obviously pulled a rabbit out of his hat, and I think the Rodgers situation might not have been as seamless as everyone wants, but right now it's kumbaya, and you'll see him speak today, and all is good. This one, though, if you're a Steelers fan, is almost more important because it's T.J. Watt. It's one of ours. It's our guy. It's our defensive player of the year, and that's the heart and soul of our team. Can we take care of that as well?
Yeah, Aaron getting $10 million guaranteed, I think, is great news for Pittsburgh Steelers fans and how they view it. T.J. Watt, the last person introduced whenever the defense is introduced onto the field for at home games. So obviously he's a pillar piece, but him potentially getting $35-40 million a year versus Aaron getting $10 million a year is certainly the piece of the conversation in the entirety. I'll be excited to see how Omar Khan gets TJ to sign it because everybody assumes TJ remains with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But what if he isn't? What if TJ Watt isn't a Pittsburgh Steeler?
Wow.
What if TJ Watt is playing somewhere else?
What's Tone got? What's he
I
got?
can't even picture it.
JJ left Houston.
That's not possible. He's a one-helmet guy. Omar's going to get it done. Like you said, you talked about, we haven't paid the quarterbacks in, 3 years? We haven't had to pay a quarterback since Ben retired, really. Top of the market money. So, like, the money's out there. TJ's going to get paid. He's going to get what he deserves, which is $1 more than Myles Garrett. And then we're just going to play football.
Maybe it will be an actual $1 more. Now, another guy you mentioned there, AJ has a question about.
Yeah, Schrags, with Trey Hendrickson, I don't think they come to terms and find a way to get him a new contract. I just feel like with what's been going on, him showing up in the golf clothes and speaking to the media to let everyone know like his side of the story, I don't see a deal happening. What do you think personally happens with Trey in Cincinnati, and can they trade him? Where could he possibly go? Like, what do you think happens here before the season?
This one's sticky because he's beloved, and he's beloved in the locker room, and the team really likes him. He mentioned on your show, he met his wife in Cincinnati. He had his kid in Cincinnati. He wants to be a Bengal and simply saying, look at the market. It doesn't make sense for what I'm being paid. I can tell you the Bengals approached this offseason with two priorities. Somehow, some way, getting T. Higgins and Jamar Chase to remain as Cincinnati Bengals in their free agent contract years. And guess what? They did it. Then they get this bomb dropped on them around the combine that Trey Hendrickson wants to be paid $30-40 million, and they didn't budget for that. They didn't prepare for that. Now they've had some time with him not only speaking on your show, but also speaking to the local media, showing up in what appeared to be a golf attire. Said, "Here I am. I'm going to talk to you guys openly." There has been enough time. If they wanted to get this done, they could have figured this out and found a way to find the budget and the numbers before training camp. They haven't moved heaven and earth to do that. So they're at a standstill right now, and he's gone about it in such an unorthodox way. He's not going through an agent. He's not going on some podcast. He's like, I'm going to show up in my golf attire, be on the sidelines, and I am also going to go on McAfee and going to speak with Pat directly about how I feel. Everyone feels he's a good guy and he's done this right. He's turning 31. They look at dollars and cents, and they look at a pie as a budget, and does this pie make sense to have that much of our salary cap devoted to a guy who led the league in sacks last year, but we don't know if he's the future of this franchise.
So Trey Hendrickson saying, with that being said, let me go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Let me go somewhere else. Let me figure that out. And the Bengals are like, nah, you're still under contract with us, I think. Isn't that kind of, you want me to trade away the sack king? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. And Trey Hendrickson's trying to do it the right way.
Trying.
But it's the wrong way.
Trying hard.
Yeah.
It's so against.
That's the thing. I think that's interesting. So the right way might mean not necessarily stupid. Yes, he's talking openly and being transparent and putting his heart on his sleeve. He's also not living up to his contract.
Yeah, well, he would say I lived up way past my contract because I'm the sack king with how much I got paid in the entirety of it all. But then with you saying he's missing mandatory minicamp, like that's also part of the contract. And then Trey Hendrickson would say, well, I was here for a voluntary day. You saw me. I was in golf clothes. So we can make one of those days go back to the other side.
told him.
His mindset, every time he comes on with us, it's very obvious that he does not want to, I do not want to have to do this, but I have to do this. I have to. This is the way the world works now. Him following up and talking to the local media, I think that was kind of unexpected on our end. But it's like Trey is, I think Duke knows. I think the Brown family knows, Katie. I think that, is Trey will Trey hold out? Trey will skip games? We'll see.
I hate testing a guy's loyalty like that. And, very quietly this offseason, Sam Hubbard's the heart and soul of that building. And then you had Pratt yesterday. These are guys that were instrumental in beating the Kansas City Chiefs that year in the AFC Championship game. Instrumental in getting them back to the AFC Championship game the next year. You don't just snap your fingers and say, okay, we found those guys. At the very least, the thread to those defenses that Coach Lou Anarumo had to this Al Golden defense could be the sack champion in Trey Hendrickson. You'd like to see them figure out a way. And the fact he wears his heart on his sleeve endears the fans, but it might not to the Blackburn ladies, and it might not to Duke Tobin.
Yeah, we shall see. Trey Hendrickson is a hell of a player. Going to have a lot of teams interested, including Lou Anarumo's new team. I'd assume there'd be some interest in that. Now, let's talk about the Indianapolis Colts, because there is a situation brewing with the number 4 overall pick and a quarterback that is in an open competition with Daniel Jones. Go ahead, D-Bud.
Yep, quarterback competition here with Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. Some unexpected news, at least from me. Anthony Richardson still dealing with this shoulder injury, and then Kirk Cousins showing up in Atlanta to the mandatory stuff. Any chance, if Anthony Richardson can't go this year, that Kirk Cousins makes his way to Indianapolis?
Ooh.
That's I like that you would even suggest that, Debo. I respect it. I don't have any word of that. From right now, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like Cousins, with his no trade clause, after Rodgers' seat is filled, is going to be an Atlanta Falcon, and he's going to be the backup to Michael Penix, and he's going to collect every last cent of that contract.
That's such a Kirk Cousins move. What do you know about Anthony Richardson's situation? Because Albert Breer was on the Rich Eisen show yesterday, and he basically said that Anthony is going, burning sage, getting bad vibes.
Yeah.
Especially because we're talking about this.
Get
Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Need good vibes for this particular storyline, because this is seemingly becoming a repeat episode here. He's going to see Dr. Neil Elitrosh, is what Albert Breer reported on Rich Eisen's show, to get a second opinion. Now, obviously, we know Dr. Neil Elitrosh for creating the Achilles factory where Aaron Rodgers was. He's also a shoulder dude, Neil Elitrosh. Neil Elitrosh, great hair, great suits, really good vibe, big brain, a lot of success rate. He did the surgery on Anthony Richardson's shoulder that has been re-aggravated. Do you know anything about this? And what do you think expectation levels are heading into training camp for AR?
It's a setback. And look, Elitrosh is the top of the game. I don't need to do a commercial for Neil Elitrosh, but you're talking about Matthew Stafford swears by him. You're talking Andrew Whitworth swears by him. And, of course, Tom Brady also swears by him. So you're talking about this particular, it's not just an Achilles guy. He's created the factory for Rodgers and Dobbins, and that's fine. But he's also the shoulder guy and the throwing guy. So he's going to the right person. He's doing it. But I'm telling you, there's something about bringing in a Daniel Jones, who was a former 6th overall pick and has now got a giant chip on his shoulder. And there's something about vibes and year 3 of Shane Steichen. And what do we do? And Chris Ballard is now on to another quarterback, where sometimes the momentum in the locker room can shift. Even if you didn't do anything wrong, you're just not there. This could be Daniel Jones grabbing this team by the collar and saying, hey, look, I'm going to be the one that leads us. And if he's not here and he's not on the field, give me that opportunity in July and give me that opportunity in August. Anthony Richardson, look, Ballard and Steichen, their name's on this. 4th overall pick, their name is on that. That is no doubt. But Daniel Jones could also be the hot guy and also the guy that has something to prove and just takes this team by storm in July. It's a true quarterback competition, and this is not good news for Anthony Richardson, no matter how you look at it.
Anthony Richardson missing reps, obviously not great. He needs reps. That's what he's needed his entire career, because he didn't play that much in high school and college. His upside, obviously immense. Injuries have kept him off the field. Other things have taken him off the field as well, including being tired. I mean, there is a lot to learn for Anthony Richardson at the quarterback position, legitimately, on the field and off the field. We knew that, though, whenever he got drafted. I have been frustrated in the past by the way some things have gone, because I'm at every single game, so I watch. I see what the sideline is. I see what's happening in between the huddles. I see what's happening in between the plays. I know who's talking to who. I know how things go, because we're literally on the field. So I have a little bit of a different perspective. I also care deeply about the Indianapolis Colts. I think that was pretty evident over the last few weeks, how much a lot of people care about the Indianapolis Colts and that Irsay family as a whole. So whenever we're seeing it kind of get mismanaged or mistreated or seemingly getting taken from or being let down, it's like there's a lot of people that are bummed out about the way some of the operations had gone from the quarterback position with Anthony Richardson. But then you automatically get reset and saying, like, he was so young. This was a part of the process. This was a part of the process. And I had changed my mind that I was going to be openly supportive of Anthony Richardson, because that would be the best thing for Anthony Richardson. And the best thing for Anthony Richardson would be the best thing for the Indianapolis Colts because of his upside. But if he re-injured the same shoulder that he got surgery on, you have to wonder, then did the surgery not take? Is there some setback in rehab? Is there a reason it didn't work? Like, there's so many questions now, because all these reps matter to the development of Anthony Richardson, which is the only thing that we can kind of hang our hat on, is that Anthony Richardson is going to develop. So then you immediately turn like, well, is Daniel Jones going to be the guy? I got a chance to see him. He's huge.
Yep. He might be.
He is gigantic.
Big boy.
He's also young. You know, I think you were only paying him $10 million this year or whatever the case is. He still is like 28, I think, or something like that. You can play another. He could play another 10 years if he.
Yeah, and I'll say something about this. You look at what Kevin O'Connell and those guys did last year with Sam Darnold. Do you know who joined that team midseason and put a really good bunch of practices on paper so good that the Vikings were pursuing Daniel Jones to resign as a backup quarterback, knowing that there was a chance they would not be able to resign him because there would be a demand. There was a market for Daniel Jones. The Vikings, the Colts, and I know a couple other teams were all very interested in Daniel Jones. So this isn't some guy on his last stop. I think the Giants situation went as it went. He got paid, didn't live up to the contract, got hurt. And then I think last year, taking that half year of the humble pie of what happened in New York, and then signing in Minnesota and being in that room for a little bit, learning from O'Connell, and then being courted as a free agent, like this is a new lease on life for Daniel Jones. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lot of maturity that goes into that. I'm not sure if Anthony Richardson has been through all of that yet as an NFL player.
Yeah, and there's a chance Anthony Richardson, and once again, I'm hoping it is just soreness that they're over cautious about, and he's back by training camp and we can have an actual quarterback competition. Because once again, Anthony Richardson's upside is, I mean, you're talking fadeaway 72-yard
Yeah, Texans
throw. I mean, that's first game of the season. I mean, and him running, his speed, everything that he has. Now, Daniel Jones, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Daniel Jones runs hard. Daniel Jones is fast. Daniel Jones over on rush yards every single game is basically a lock.
Yep.
Because even the odds makers look at Daniel Jones and they go, 2% ain't going to be able to run over 17 yards. Yep. And then he gets into open field. And if a line doesn't trip him, which sometimes yard lines have got him before.
Happens.
He's wide ass. I mean, he is a threat on the ground, and let alone he is big. Boom, boom, boom. And Shane
That's a tough run.
Yes, that's a tough run. He's huge. And in Shane Steichen's offense, like your quarterback being able to run is a massive, that's almost a bigger deal than the throws. And if Daniel Jones obviously gotten better, maybe our offense will be able to go. And if Anthony Richardson is out, I will be eager to see what they do at the quarterback position and if they bring or try to bring anybody in. Okay, let's talk about some moves that were made over the last 24 hours or so. The Green Bay Packers now all of a sudden are thin, very thin at a position. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, Schrags, what ultimately happened with the Jaire Alexander situation? Obviously, we've talked to you a little bit. You had dinner with Matt LaFleur the night before we saw you in Green Bay, and it sounded like after this whole thing started and he was going to be gone, then it was like, no, he's coming back. He's going to be a Packer. Obviously, he got released yesterday. They cleared up quite a bit of cap space. But what are you hearing about this situation, and where are some potential landing spots for Jaire Alexander? Because I've already heard Minnesota.
Raise my hand there. It wasn't erroneous reporting. However, I was wrong. I thought they would figure it out based on my conversations, not only with LaFleur, with people on both sides, and knowing that it was just a money issue. Let's figure out the money issue. At the end of the day, Jaire Alexander didn't want to take a pay cut, and the Packers thought it was fair after 2 years of him only playing so many games that we talk about a contract restructure. And to his credit, Jaire Alexander said, $17 million is not top of the market. When I'm on the field, I am worth that, and I am not taking a pay cut based on injury that I have unfortunately been able to deal with the last couple of years and play through in a lot of ways. So he's going to bet on himself. And the Packers, they said, well, we're not betting on that. We don't think you are available for us. And they have 3 young corners who they really like. That said, they're in minicamp right now, and I'm seeing Bo Melton, a receiver out of Rutgers, being played at cornerback because they're so thin right now. There you go, you have it. Because Micah Robinson and Taylor King are out. You don't want to see that either. That said, I wasn't wrong when I said things were trending the right way. What I was wrong was that I was assuming that they would figure things out. To Jaire Alexander's credit, you don't want to take a pay cut. I think I'm worth that. And let's see if he can make more elsewhere, because the Packers are going to eat a huge amount of his salary cap regardless with dead space.
I do wonder if it was the holdup on the C.
Yeah. Could have been.
Makes sense.
We
wants to be captain. The game was in Charlotte. Shouldn't you know better, LaFleur?
Yeah, it's his home. I just don't think LaFleur knew it's my home.
I mean, you can't be having Bo Melton.
What are you talking about?
It's the Green Bay Packers.
Let's get the guy we drafted in the 6th round to play receiver and just toss him out there. And, hey, maybe he'll be our starting cornerback next year. What are we doing?
What are you talking about? Travis Hunter? That's all the rage right now.
Yeah, he's a generational talent. He's not
Bo Melton.
He's not a 6th round receiver out of Rutgers, for Christ's sake. You kidding me? Go get Jalen Ray back for the Green Bay Packers next year? I don't think so.
You don't know. This is one rep.
He's had a couple. I mean, look at the way. Well, never mind.
I thought Ty was all good after the Matthew Golden draft pick.
Sure.
I thought we put this to bed. We said Mad Mel was gone. We found happy Mel. We found happy Ty. But here's we're reverting back to our old selves here. It's June, dude.
Yeah, it is. We got a lot of time to find corners.
Yeah, you're right, because there's a bunch of good ones. just
Stefan's
hanging
out there. Gilmore's out there.
Yeah.
Gilmore.
Xavier.
Ramsey makes sense.
Jalen.
Jaire Alexander's out there.
He is.
You couldn't
Bo
get
Melton's out there. Bo
No,
Melton.
we already got Bo Melton.
No, he might be available, though. He's a sixth-round pick. There's no promise.
Yeah, you're right.
There's no promise.
You
He
don't
might
want
be
that
out
in
there.
June.
And, the Colts, Lou Anarumo might need to look at some Bo Melton tape. And also, other teams might need to start looking at the fifth, sixth wide receiver and be like, how's your drop?
It works.
How's your drug? Hey, let's get you a. Rob Domofsky has posted a great rep of Bo Melton.
Boom. That is a good break.
Okay.
And that's a
Fun.
6.
Yes, he just cut off. Yeah.
I mean, Richard Sherman started as a wide.
Tall, lanky. Bo put those paws on. He's from Rutgers, too. Rutgers.
Tough, physical, hard-nosed.
All right, let's talk about some players that are at camp that I think are a little bit of a surprise. Go ahead, Tone.
Yeah, my ears perked up when you mentioned James Cook earlier and you talked about his agent being in the Shemar Stewart conversation. It was a little surprising that he was reporting today. Maybe it's because he has not made as much money yet as all the other players who are not reporting. Was this surprising to you? And do you think this will be like a potential hold-in situation, or do you think something eventually gets done with James Cook before the final year of his contract?
I'll tell you, I'm pleasantly surprised. I feel like James Cook and his representatives have been quite vocal about their desire for a new deal. And judging by the way things were going, I didn't expect him to show his face, but he's there, and I respect it. Whether he's doing 20 drills or not. The fact that he's there, I think, has a lot to do with that he wants to be a Buffalo Bill. But we've talked about this. The numbers, they did not make sense to Brandon Beane when we were talking about it at the Combine. They did not make sense to Brandon Beane when we were talking about it after they re-upped all those other guys to new extensions. They're not going to give him Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley money. They're just not. I don't see that happening. It's just not what they're budgeting for. That said, I think they would love to have James Cook, who is maybe their best offensive player outside of Josh Allen, on the field. So let's see if they can figure it out. But a good sign, even if it's just an olive branch, that, hey, I'm going to be there and present as now one of the veteran leaders of this offense. But he is grossly underpaid now. But for what numbers that we were hearing tossed around, those didn't really, add up with reality for what they were looking to spend on running back.
New OC up there, Mr. Brady, loves James Cook.
Yes.
Absolutely loves James Cook. I think James Cook loves where NFL football is headed as well. Obviously, you saw the Saquon Barkley-led Philadelphia Eagles go win the Super Bowl, then Saquon get broken off. I think James Cook loves everything about that. If James puts up another great year, and I know this sucks, especially at the running back position with how many hits you have to take and how dangerous it is, if he doesn't get a deal done now, he puts up another massive year, there's going to be big market for James Cook. I mean, obviously, I'm speaking something that is very obvious, but that is probably what I assume Beane is saying to James Cook. I assume James Cook's agent has also said, like, hey, unless we really hold out, which we don't want to do, there is big money around the corner for a James Cook in this current NFL. It's just like, hopefully he gets that money sooner than later, because I love watching him play football.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love him on that team too. I think he fits that team, and he was so good in that AFC championship game. He had that run on fourth down. It's one of the best runs you'll ever see, where he extends over the goal line, and it's like he belongs in. But this is the one. I think it's the most maybe this and Julio's catch in the Super Bowl are like the most underrated plays in NFL history of just athleticism, just sheer amazing balance from him. And no other player can do that right now. That is James Cook. He's that good. So let's get this done. Let's keep him in the Bills uniform. But at the number that they were asking for, I don't think it was even close.
Yeah, well, what was the number they were asking for?
I don't know, but from what I remember hearing from people in Buffalo at the Combine, it was like out of hand how they were even talking about it. So hopefully we can figure it out and make a number that's more reasonable and in line with what the running back position makes. That said, if the Eagles are paying Saquon and the Ravens are paying Henry, and they're that age, why not pay James?
Yeah, and if that's how you're winning games, I mean, that's a whole another conversation. Another conversation about paying people, and I don't want to go back to it. Sheriff Seeley's got no shot with that college sports commission.
No chance.
Have you thought about that anymore, AJ?
Yeah, no chance. I mean, yeah, he's going to get sued from 5,000 different players.
How do you say no to a deal? Like, how do you say that isn't in a proper marketing?
If someone offers you this amount of money for these terms, like, then how can you say, hey, no, that's not in line with what he is worth?
Believe me, our deals that have not been properly represented publicly have been said to be way overpriced. Little do people know the number is You would think even more so, I think, for some of the deals that I've negotiated. But who says that that's not the proper number, especially because we've already earned that money back for said companies that we already know about. But if the deals that I was negotiating with companies had to be presented to some other dipshit who's never done a deal, or that's the only amount of money that they were able to negotiate, or they weren't able to think of ideas to regain that amount of money for the company that you're negotiating with, how is that even anywhere near an acceptable process?
Yes.
I don't know.
Anti-American.
Yeah.
It is.
Do schools control it? Could they do it that way?
The schools control the salary cap, which is going to be like $14.5 million. These are all the NIL deals that have to get approved by a committee that makes it in the fair market range. It's like, who says what the range is? Myles Garrett got $40 million. Softball girl.
Yeah, Niger Kennedy.
Niger Kennedy she got $1 million. So what's the going rate? 50,000, 100,000? I don't know what it is. Maybe 25,000, even less than that.
Seriously.
Then
Was that Cooper Flag number real? I thought that was a little bit inflated. Would they say? I don't even know who reported it.
They said 28. I think there was I think there was a lot of maybe like 5-year deals that were potentially
Like his Converse deal or whatever his shoe deal was, I think, in that number.
But that might have been a 3-year deal too.
Yeah.
That might have been just but whatever the case, still a lot of money. But the softball girl, Niger,
and she delivered. She was awesome for them.
Yeah, but when they present that to a committee and they say, hey, they want to pay him $1 million or pay her $1 million, well, everybody else is making 150,000, 200,000 at tie-in. It's like, who says that $1 million isn't enough? But we all just agreed she was definitely worth it.
Yeah, Roger Natty.
I never heard of Texas Tech softball until this weekend, and I'm watching because of her. And you got Mahomes in the stands, like cheering, like she was that dominant. It was worth every penny.
Bingo. But whenever they would have pitched that number, which I think they were, other schools were saying, we're not paying that. No way.
Yeah.
That committee would have said, no way will we do that. It's like, I don't know how. I genuinely don't know what the answer is. I don't want to be just the person saying, like, hey, this ain't going to be good. But because I don't have any answers, so I'm part of the problem, not a part of the solution, so I apologize for that. But it's like they're going to have to figure out how that works, because I don't know how you say no to a company wanting to pay a human amount of money.
Sheriff Seeley, he'll figure it out.
Yeah, he'll crack down.
He's going to have to.
Sheriff will get it done.
I appreciate this man saying I'll take on the task.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this
Better him than me.
Hey, man, Shreds. And that was happening with Saban. Remember, people were pushing Saban's name out there. Saban's about to do it. And I was talking to people, not Coach Saban himself, because I didn't want to put him in a spot to give me an answer. Then I would have to say, I talked to him. But people directly around him were like, we're signing Coach Saban up for that at 70. We're signing him up to fix all of college. That's a deep job. Good luck, Seeley.
We're getting it done.
I still don't know how you turn down any offer. I don't know how that's going to happen. So legally, that seems impossible. But if we were to make a bet, it would be on what Schrager's brain says. Wouldn't that be the case?
Without a doubt.
With the draft, and also I think he picked the Super Bowls for a while. And then also he seemingly understands the cultures in different buildings and where they're at. Go ahead, Con Man.
Yeah, Schrags, last year in the preseason, you said, hey, don't be surprised if the Washington Commanders go on a hell of a run. And it turns out they end up going to the NFC Championship. Do you have a read on your favorite kind of dark horse team out of nowhere this year? Loved what you said on Get Up this morning about the Chargers. They're still in the Chiefs division, so who cares? But who do you think is one of those teams that kind of rises from the ashes this year and revitalizes their entire team?
Yeah, look, I said last year everywhere before the season that they would have a Houston Texans-like turnaround. I didn't think they would go to the NFC Championship game. And the Commanders, what they did was they just said, let's rip it all down and build it all up. Now, that started with a head coach, an offensive coordinator, a new GM, and then they got a new quarterback. The closest thing that you're going to find to that right now is the Chicago Bears, in that they have all new coaching staff, all these new players, a new offensive line, and they have a quarterback in Caleb Williams, who it seems is all there, but I have to see and learn a little bit more and see how this Ben Johnson-Caleb thing goes before I jump in. On paper, they're the team that did it. On paper, they're the team that gave their quarterback everything. On paper, they're the team that rebuilt the whole franchise in a matter of an offseason, and that's what I always look for. That's what D'Amico did with C.J. Stroud, and they got Will Anderson right after. So it's all there, but I'm not sold on Caleb yet. I got to see training camp, because Ben Johnson's offense, and I've known Ben for a long time, he's a cerebral guy in that, he and Goff had to put a lot of time into that, where everything was timing based. Everything is like, you count to 3 here, you look there. And everything that Caleb Williams has been up to this point has been freestyle, off schedule, willy-nilly, freelance. Let me use my athleticism. Can you combine the two and get that Mahomes-Andy Reid marriage where it's like, here's the play, and I know you've got all the athleticism, but if we could put this together and you could just trust me on timing, we can make this work, well then, yeah, the Bears will be that team. I have to see it first before I make that prediction. But on paper, the Bears are your Texans from 2 years ago and your Commanders from a year ago.
That baby Zeke celebrating back there. The big fist bumps from Zito, raising the roof, raising the roof. Where are you guys going to play football at? We shall see.
We don't know.
Jared Goff, like the epitome of a robot quarterback, but he did it perfectly.
Hell yeah.
Yes, he did.
Everything that he is great at, Ben Johnson used and made perfect. And Ben said, I think, I've never had a quarterback with the ability that Caleb has as well to kind of add in the off-script stuff. I can't wait to watch them, too. And they invested in the offensive line. They seemingly invested in everything that's good, too, Schrager. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to jump in. It's like some of the stuff that used to drive Kyle Shanahan nuts with Garoppolo is that it's like, hey, just throw to point A, point B. And Jimmy would have to do something crafty in the pocket and try to make something more of it. And that would enrage Kyle Shanahan. Then he gets Brock Purdy, and it's like, Brock Purdy, throw here. And Brock Purdy throws there. He's like a robot sometimes with what Kyle wanted. That's going to be Ben Johnson with Caleb. Can Caleb play within that framework of don't go off script, don't do what you think is necessary for the extra bigger play? Just trust me and we'll get there. I don't know.
But extend the play when it is available.
That's also why he was hands down the number one pick, because of that ability. And even Brock Purdy, like, he's a guy that can play within the system, but he's also a guy when it breaks down can scramble for 16 and break it back. So all the things they did in the offseason right there was straight, especially Loveland too. Going up and getting Loveland, pairing him up with Komet. Rome's going into a big second year. DJ Moore coming off a career year. So, yeah, all the pieces are there for Chicago.
Quarterback's got to be the hardest. It's so impossible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just the amount.
And look at who they drafted second and third overall. You got Jaden and Drake May just like breathing on him. And that's the same city that Trubisky was taken before Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. So, like, they've been down this road. I think there's a lot of believers in Caleb. Ben Johnson would not have taken that job. He could have gone to any of these jobs. He would not have taken that job if he didn't want to be with Caleb Williams. I just personally, and I'm not hating, I just need to see it first. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it sounds like anytime you say I'm not hating on him.
You're hating on
him. Sounds like there's a little bit of that. And with Caleb, I think he understands that the NFL world, because in college he's obviously spectacular. Comes in at Oklahoma. I think he came in the Red River rivalry game and took that thing over there, chanting his name. I remember that was a moment in college football that year. Then obviously he goes out to USC with Lincoln Riley, becomes the spectacle showcase that he is, comes undoubtedly the number one overall pick. He even had people saying, like, are you going to be the team that passes on Caleb Williams? Mm-hmm. Like, that's how Caleb Williams was being talked about coming out of college. In the NFL, goes to Chicago. It goes how it goes. He's already on his third offensive coordinator, I think.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Third offensive coordinator.
And then the story.
Waldron, Thomas Brown, and now we've got this. And
that's
you've got obviously.
That's a lot of shit to go from, like, the God to, like, okay, now you got to, like, humble yourself in the middle of this entire thing.
And Pat, they didn't even meet with Jaden Daniels. They didn't even meet with Drake May. This was handed to him in a way that is very unorthodox in the draft, where it's like, you're the guy. You don't need to take another pro day with anybody. You don't need to visit anybody. You're our guy. So there's a lot that goes.
There's a lot going on with this guy.
Okay,
it's a big city. It's a big city, big fan base, big market, big franchise. Hasn't been great for a long time. They've invested a lot. Ben Johnson has been great. The expectation is Ben Johnson's going to be good. Will the quarterback be good? And
I like that. I like that version of him. That fired up. I want to see that.
Yeah, a little fire, a little
panache.
He has a lot of pizzazz.
He
and
does.
the pizzazz with the fire pizzazz.
Yeah, the cool bear claw.
Yeah, remember those days?
Oh, yeah.
Those were fun days.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while.
That was like the pre-Jets season started with Aaron Rodgers days.
Yeah.
Do you remember how much fun those days were?
Oh, my God. Hard knocks, yeah.
I jumped all in. I dove in. I was like, oh, my gosh. He took Solomon Thomas to a Broadway play. I'm in.
That one drive he had against the Niners in week 1 where they just walked down the field.
So good.
How are you as a swimmer? Schrager's pretty good swimmer or no?
Pretty good. Yeah, I could swim. I could do a little medley. Let's go.
Oh, really?
All four.
You got them all.
I could butterfly. I'll butterfly that ass. Let me go. Let's do it.
We need you to get on some juice, and we need to get you in these. We need you to butterfly that ass in the enhanced games. Imagine Schrager's on all the juice. Oh, showing up to that thing. Oh my God.
Mountain.
Is this the butterfly?
Yeah, over the top.
That's the butterfly.
Yeah.
This is the breast.
Yeah.
Yep.
We got this one.
Backstroke.
Backstroke.
And then just
freestyle.
forward, just freestyle.
And then we're
You do a little elementary side stroke too, if you want. Just a little, you just gotta do this.
Okay. You're a Navy SEAL.
That's it. Take me to Paris Island. Let's go.
Schrags, I'll tell you, I don't know if you want to go down Paris Island. But
Take your boy, man.
I don't think I would last a second in
Dude,
Paris Island.
that place was incredible. That place was absolutely incredible.
Dude, I commend you. Hats off to you so much for even going. I mean, that had to be a life-changing experience. I did Fort Bragg a couple years back with Fox, and it's still to this day one of the coolest experiences of my life.
I went on a USO tour over to Japan. Went to a bunch of different bases over there. Obviously, here in Indiana, there's a couple different bases. I've done a lot of stuff with the military. Very thankful to get to know a lot of people that have been in the military and all that. First time ever at a boot camp, So that's my first time kind of witnessing it. Thank God they're still around.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. I thought
yes, sir.
I said this yesterday, and I don't want to reiterate it too much, but I thought that wasn't around anymore. I thought there wasn't any of that. We're going to be okay. We're going to be A-okay.
I think Schrags can make it. I mean, I would love to see Grok put Schrags on those yellow footprints right next to you.
Come on, Grok, do you?
Grok, make sure you understand make his footprints extra yellow. Mm-hmm. Make those things extra.
Don't let him pee his pants. Do not have a pee stain on his pants.
Or poop. They thought about calling them Bryan prints, but obviously the pants kind of keep those in. AJ has a question for you, Schrags.
Schrags, with Aaron Rodgers signing in Pittsburgh, what are your expectations for this Steelers team this year? Obviously, it feels like it's a little. I guess Steelers fans might be, I don't know, like not getting too far, not putting the cart before the horse, whatever you want to call it. They seem to, they kind of rein it in. But what do you expect out of this team?
Yeah, I have two big thoughts on this that I'd love to share with you guys. The first thing is this misnomer that like Rodgers wouldn't fit in Pittsburgh because he's this like crunchy granola Northern California guy. I've known Aaron a long time. When it comes to football, and AJ, you know this, there is no one more dialed in. And furthermore, who are the coaches he's really connected the most with? Mike McCarthy, Western Pennsylvania. Tom Clements, Western Pennsylvania. Alex Van Pelt, Western Pennsylvania. Frank Signetti. Like we can go down. Ben McAdoo. All these guys are Western PA guys, and they've hit it off with Rodgers in a real way. So I think he will fit that city and will fit that culture. I also like the fact they're not asking him to be the savior. Now, of course, you got to be the quarterback, number one of the Pittsburgh Steelers. All eyes are on you. That's all going to come with it. But, like, it's not the Jet situation where it's like it's all on his shoulders and he's going out to, dinner at Carbone in New York City with Sauce Gardner, who's 21 years younger than him. Like, it's not there's Cam Hayward, there's TJ Watt, hopefully. There's DK Metcalf. There are guys there, and there's Mike Tomlin. So I think for 1 year, $10 million with incentives, like, this is a no-brainer. And all the stuff that we were moaning and groaning about in the media the past 3 months, trust me, Arthur Smith was building an offense for Aaron Rodgers, whether he knew he was coming or not. It's not like they got caught with their pants around their ankles saying, oh, wait a second, he's signing? Let's go build an offense. Like, they've had time to build this thing. It's just an install now. And, hey, don't worry about all the other nonsense. We got football, and you've got 1 year. Let's make the most of it. I like it.
Yeah, we like it as well. And I think most Pittsburgh Steelers fans have come around on the fact that this is a much better option than anything else they had at this particular point. And there's also a chance at the end of the season last year, Aaron Rodgers' Achilles, out of the Achilles factory, was just getting healthy for the first time. And he was moving, throwing. The Jets' offense looked like how everybody had fantasized that Jets' offense would look 2 years prior to that for like 4 games. Way too little, way too late for that Jets run. But if you carry that into the Pittsburgh Steelers with some of the guys that are still available,
I mean, they are loaded at every single spot on the defense. So hopefully the defense carries them while the offense and Aaron kind of learn each other, and they can run the football, which we know Artie wants to do. They added some running backs this offseason as well as DK Metcalf. So, I think things are high right now in Steelers town. Oh, look at
those first 4 weeks, though. Like, I could see 4.
By the way, Strags, the fact maybe the Browns in the first 6 weeks. No, as far as the schedule goes, it sets up really nicely early for them to get.
Well, I love Dan, and Dan is the guy that I would like consider. You want to talk about someone you love doing TV with. Dan's great on TV, and he's fun to banter with. He was saying like, there's no way in hell they could beat. He wouldn't say hell. He's a religious man. There's no way in HE double hockey sticks that you could see that the Steelers could beat the Ravens in the. And I'm like, I just watched the Commanders play in an NFC Championship game. Like I just saw it with my own 2 eyes. It could happen. It's not crazy.
He said
the NFL. I saw the Jaguars play in an AFC Championship game in Foxborough and come one Stephon Gilmore play away from going to the Super Bowl. Like I've seen it. It's crazy. That's the NFL.
Yeah, agreed. And the Pittsburgh Steelers win games. And the Pittsburgh Steelers know the Baltimore Ravens pretty good. Those games are always going to be one-score games. I mean, there's some stat about stats or about some spreads over 4.5 or 5.5 in between the Steelers and the Ravens game.
Like even 3.
I think it was 3.5.
Yeah, 3.5. I guess anything over 3.5, you take the points.
Yep.
In the Ravens Steelers, that's how those games go. So yes,
Except the playoffs. They got the crap kicked out of them.
Well,
that was bad.
They ran for 700 yards, but we got that figured out. There's only been one losing quarterback under Mike Tomlin. Who was that, Tregs?
Mitchell Trubisky. What's up, Mitch?
Can't believe you couldn't think of that today. He said it was Duck. It was
Doc Hodges took him to the playoffs.
He did.
Watch it.
Quack,
Quack, quack.
quack, 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 quack. Oh, Ducks in it. That's what they were saying.
Bingo.
When Doc Hodges was the quarterback. And now he's living his best life.
Yeah.
The wonderful life. I mean, his wife is a superstar in country music, and Duck Hodges is doing his thing.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I like my Sirius Highway 56. I like listening to that, but I don't know anything about the gossip. I got nothing else.
Doc's out there calling ducks still. I do know that.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, he'll remind everybody. You remember? The name Duck is because I'm a world champion duck caller. Yeah. Quack,
World
quack.
champion?
Yeah.
World
Yeah.
champion.
Oh, yeah.
Best duck caller in the
sure?
world.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing.
Like 2 times.
Yeah.
Dude, those ducks
Beat-
have no
Who's
chance.
familiar
They
with your
think he
game?
is an actual fuck. Quack, 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 quack. Calling that. These ducks up there are like, holy shit,
It's
that's
so confused.
10. That's 10. They go down there. They think it's not. It's Duck with a shotgun. Pow, pow, pow. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, falling.
Look familiar.
It's Duck football.
Duck football. Then he put him in a football game for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he just finds a way to win.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Monday night against the Chargers. I remember it well. In LA or in San Diego, and Duck Hodges lit him up.
Legend.
That's Duck Hodges football.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's doing real estate or insurance, but whatever he's doing, if he's selling it, we're buying it.
Hell yeah.
Quack, quack, buddy. You done good? As have you, Schrager, you Emmy Award-winning handsome lad who's a good swimmer.
Yeah.
We'll swim our way into the digital-only version of this particular program. We'll be back tomorrow. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life as Schrager's phone falls. What is that?
That's that weird AI thing. I got like the update on it where like it follows you. There you go. It's doing it again. I don't know. I got to turn it off.
That's a PTZ. That's Foxy in the back on my side.
Okay. All right.
Yours is like tracks you, right? That's an iPad?
I know. Yeah, it's something. I don't know. The government's following me. I have no idea what's going on.
You have
Yeah.
no idea.
It's been there all day, Karen. Yeah, you.
Oz The Mentalist got me today, and now my iPad is following me from all angles.
We have that. We have that ready.
I saw the beginning of your show. I don't know. That's crazy, man. I was with the people online, like enough with the O's a little bit, and then and it happened to me, and I'm changed
O's.
forever. It was incredible.
Schrags, we're the exact same way. We saw him on TV. He was getting a lot of hype. Schefter's like, hey, I'm kind of his manager or whatever. Like, oh, great. Now this guy's getting force-fed.
I didn't know that.
Into every single team. I think he's a friend/manager or something along those lines.
Okay.
So then he's at every single team. He's putting out clips with everybody. We're like, we get it, dude. We get it. Then you experience it for the first time. Was that your first time live around O's?
Yes. First time ever meeting him. He was on Rogan this week. I happened to listen to him for 3 hours. I'm like, I've got my fill of my cup. And then he did this to me in person, and I'm like, I'm absolutely blown away. This man is very, very impressive.
Did he fuck with you a little bit off camera too? Because that's when he really gets you to understand that this is the real deal. Like we told this story earlier about what he did to Darius, what he did to me. I think there was some stuff off air with AJ that happened as well, just kind of off the cuff. Hey, how you doing? Let me let you know that I fucking know everything you're thinking right now, really quickly. And then
That was the weird part. I'm good. I don't need to do any like pre-show stuff with Oz. And then they were like, go chat with Oz. I'm like, all right. So I'm chatting with him, and he's just chatting, but we're not talking about any of the stuff he brought on to the show. And then we were doing small talk about me, and I'm like, all right. Then we get out there, and he's like, think of an NBA superstar, which is a very vague term. It could be anything. And I'm like, all right. And for whatever reason, I'm like, I'm going to go Draymond Green, which might not even be considered. I mean, in today's climate, there's 10 other players. And we can talk about who, but like that might not be one of the guys. And he's like, write down the name of any NBA superstar. And I wrote down Draymond Green, and he's like, you're thinking of Draymond Green. I'm like, what the? It was crazy.
It makes no sense. In that little off convo that he's having with you, I think he's trying to figure out if he can crack India. And then as soon as he finds out, he's got no time for you. All right, let's get him the fuck out of here.
Yep.
Let me just make sure this isn't the same thing as me. Hey, talk to me. What's your favorite? Yeah, I got it. Okay, thank you. You can fucking leave now. You can go ahead and get out.
That's how it was. He didn't want to, like, he wasn't looking to get coffee. No, that was quick.
Yeah, he just wanted to find out if he can crack your skull or not. That's all he wanted to know.
And he did.
He had to plant Draymond Green because he spelled out get up, so he had to know.
Yeah, that was the crazy. Isn't that how it all kind of comes together too? It's wild.
Fucking guy.
I mean, if you were to ask, any of you guys to name an NBA superstar, any of you thinking of Draymond Green off the top of your head? No.
I was thinking Bob Cousy.
Smart.
Bob Cousy.
Yeah. If he said NBA GOAT, maybe.
Could you imagine if you drop a Cousy reference? There's been a couple times where he's asked me a question, and I hadn't been paying attention close enough because I was still trying to figure out what the fuck he just did. So then he asked me a question. And I'm like, oh, I was not paying attention. Were there any precursors on what I'm supposed to think? Because like that's a piece of information you do need. Like, what am I supposed to think of here? Because what if I'm thinking of something that isn't even in a category? Then I clearly am ruining the entire gimmick. That's happened to me 3 times now with him. Because I'm thinking about the previous thing that he did. Then he asked me, I'm like, oh, fuck, I thought we were done. No, you need more from me.
What was Belichick? I mean, I remember watching it in real time, but like off camera, what was Belichick's reaction to that guy?
I think he said "man" a couple times.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he was calling
Sean Payton. He wasn't calling Sean Payton during the whole thing.
Hey, he just predicted first 8. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
He's good.
Sean Payton.
Oh, I got Sean Payton on the phone.
It was the thing. All right, Schrags, what should we be paying attention to that we're not paying attention to right now? You think? Whole world.
I'm curious to see how this Jets thing goes this offseason. They tore it all down and everyone's flying high, but there's some questions here in New York as to whether or not this young coaching staff and the young GM and the young quarterback, it's all going to come together. There's no expectations with the Jets, so they might be a little sleeper team as well.
Oh, you like them as a dark horse? You
They'll
like
probably
Okay.
stink.
Yeah. All right.
Sleeper as in like no one's talking about them whatsoever and the spotlight's off, and let's see how these young guys play. Look, the fact that Sauce and Garrett Wilson showed up today with their contract situations up in the air, I like that also.
Yeah, me too. I like Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, no one's talking about the New York City teams.
Ha!
No one does that.
It's never a conversation. Speaking of, how are you enjoying the finals? Are you watching the finals? They said lowest game 2 since 2000.
It's his fault. He's not watching.
Yeah, it's all because you.
I have been watching. I'm telling you, I thought game 1 was one of the greatest finals games. That was the coolest thing. And I said to everyone I was with, and I was with a group of people, I'm like, I will never count this team out when they're down 9 with 7 minutes left. And they did it again.
Yep.
They're a special team, but this Thunder team, when they get it going, it's like a locomotive. So you just got to stop them from getting it going.
Here's game 1.
I've really enjoyed this matchup. I think it's good.
Tyrese Halliburton game right there. 0.3 seconds left on the clock. How you doing? Keep it moving. John Halliburton in the building. No selling the entire thing. Think there's a chance if he was courtside, we would have seen a little bit of something out of Pops. Hopefully he's back for game 3. Nonetheless, Tyrese Halliburton has made a lot of big shots. Game 2 didn't make anything until fourth quarter whenever he really turned it up. But even then, you talk about never counting us out. We were down like 15 with like 2 minutes left, 3 minutes left. I was like, wait a minute. Can we make a run at this thing? And then we subbed everybody out. And it was like, you know?
Time of death.
Yep.
Time of day.
Same.
3 minutes left.
New York Knicks fans now are freaking out over who the next coach is going to be and whether it's Kevin Durant. And that's the life of a Knicks fan every offseason. It's what's next. We turn the page. But to me, let's enjoy Isaiah Joe taking on Obi Toppin for 4 more days.
Okay.
Amen. Amen.
Who is going to be the coach over there? Jason Kidd, I heard, right?
So they're saying.
That's what Wendy was saying. And I don't know. Is that Red Auerbach? I don't know. I mean, everyone's freaking like, oh, Jason Kidd is like,
What?
Sure. Great. Yeah, okay. It's fine. I don't know.
believe
That's what I'm saying. I'm with you on that. I don't know. Is Jason Kidd suddenly going to be the one that gets us over the top?
Yeah, he gets Cooper Flag and Anthony Davis and Kyrie and
Is he running away from? I don't know. The Mavericks going to let him out?
go to New York.
Yeah, why would he leave? And then let's talk about Malone. Wouldn't Malone be the guy?
Yeah.
Your thing.
Malone might be the guy because his dad, Brendan Malone, was a longtime assistant in New York, and he's got all these awards. But like, if you think Tibbs runs guys hard and is tough on playing young players and getting, that's Mike Malone's whole rap. I don't know if we need to go down that road again.
Who did Stephen A. Smith say? Mark Jackson?
He did bring up Mark Jackson.
Is he still?
From Knick, New York City guy. I don't know if that's happening.
I mean,
I like the guy in Houston, Ime Udoka, but it sounds like they're not going to ever let him out for anything. To me, that's who I would be.
Why would he
targeting.
do that again?
Houston, young, loaded.
Yeah, they got money.
Don't you want to be in New York with all the bright lights in the New York City? Like, that's the whole thing.
Yeah,
Fired
the coach
after you take him
just
to the conference final.
Yeah, bingo.
Yeah, that's what you want to do. You want to get fired.
Yeah, just let Rick Brunson run the show.
He already is.
Yeah.
Just make it official. And they're talking about getting Kevin Durant. They don't have any picks. They got to trade multiple
trade
guys
Cat.
then if they want them.
They'd have to trade Cat, which I'm not sure. Although I'll say this, Durant, I like Durant. Durant's a killer on offense, and if any snap of a finger, he could score 21 points in the fourth. Like, I wouldn't be so opposed to it. I know a lot of my Knicks fans are like running for the hills from Kevin Durant because 37 years old and isn't exactly a defensive stalwart anymore. But to me, you're never out of a game with Kevin Durant, especially if he's got a chip on his shoulder. I would take Durant.
Just get another lanky wing player.
What are you talking about? Another? You're calling Kevin Durant just another?
No,
He's not Mikal Bridges. He's a little different.
They got
there. Come on.
Bridges. They got OG. They just went to the conference finals, and they're like, hey, we got to blow up this team. If we don't blow this team up, we'll never get back here. It's like every year. We talked about this with the Pacers.
I'm not happy for Timothy Chalamet, Ben Stiller, Spike Lee, Pete Schrager,
Miles Teller.
John Mellencamp, all the Knicks fans about like how exciting of a run you guys had. And then,
Exactly.
we're thinking we're doing it again next year. It's hard to just rebuild, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Change. It's easier to do it again next year when you do what the Pacers did, and you just keep everybody
Continuity?
and you trust it.
Yeah, let's work
versus-
together and do that.
Here's the fear. It's like we've seen it. Like Steve Kerr was an upgrade from Mark Jackson and was what they needed. Phil Jackson was an upgrade from Doug Collins in that situation, was what they needed. So we've seen it happen. But like, if you don't have that guy in your back pocket, that's a pretty rash decision to make. I assume that those other teams had that in play, and there was like, so I'm just gonna let go of the wheel and see how it ends up before I judge.
I trust Jalen Brunson on the court. If he's playing, I think you're in it. I think that's how Knicks fans should feel. This SGA guy,
Real.
I'm watching him
good.
a lot. He's 6'6", AJ.
Young.
I know.
Legit.
He's a freak.
Every angle.
How do you stop
off the
him? Like, how do you
backboard?
stop him?
It's unbelievable.
I have no idea how you stop it. And then I appreciate people. Now, granted, I did not watch enough of the Oklahoma City Thunder this year.
Sure.
Okay, hand up on me. The narrative was this guy just gets to the foul line. So I thought we were going to watch James Harden at Houston basketball. Like I thought it was just going to be like that type of stuff. It's not.
No.
It's a completely.
Yes.
He is a play. This dude is a beast.
Stud.
They call him a foul artist. It's like he will expose you if you are close enough for him to steal one off of you.
Sure.
He will certainly do that. But he's creating his own shot. He's shaking. He's taking it to. I mean, he is. It's not like a floppy thing. It's like he will certainly play the game and get a foul on you. I understand that. And some people think that's a little shady, especially whenever you somehow have more foul shots than our team every single time. How does that work out that way? But it's like he's a talent. This dude's unbelievable.
Yeah, you go down a list of great scorers. They all got to the foul line. That's a part of it, putting the defenders in bad situations. When you have elite scorers like that, there's always going to be the haters, just like when it's like great quarterbacks, when it's Brady or Manning or whoever, pocket quarterbacks. Oh, man, when they get hit, they get all the flags, they get all this. Yeah, they're great, and when they don't, they're going to tear you apart. So that's what SGA does. And what he's been able to do on the biggest stages, winning the MVP, getting to a level he's never been to and his team has never been to, and every time these lights are bright, he shows up. Like, that's impressive. I'm sure his line is what tonight to score? Probably 30.
It's always 30 at least.
Yeah, like
that's what Carlisle said.
That's
He's going
crazy.
30 every
34.
time.
It was
34
and a half. Yeah,
That's nuts.
Yeah, Rick Carlisle said you can put 34 on the score sheet for SGA already before the game even starts.
Yeah, he has. I think they did it on Get Up. He has 83 games now with 25 plus points this season.
Crazy.
Yeah,
83.
He's even money to score 35 plus.
The final
And
game.
I watch college hoops. Like, he wasn't that guy at Kentucky. I don't know when this happened. Like, he was good. He was fine, but he wasn't that guy.
It'd be cool to be 6'6", and then just have it snap that you're supposed to just take over games.
Work ethic.
Yeah, has to.
Brunson, too. Brunson, he was a dog at Villanova, obviously, but you put in the work and you become like a great. You only do that by putting that work in, and he's obviously done that.
And his mentor was Chris Paul. When Chris Paul came over to OKC, he was supposed
Right.
to. They were supposed. I think their over/under for wins was like 20, and they ended up winning 45 games, going to the playoffs, being the 4 seed when Chris Paul was at the 1, and he's kind of the guy that took SGA under his wing.
Hey, Chris Paul, good on our program.
Yeah.
Great on your program. Live in the rain from Carolina. I loved it.
He talks shit, too.
Back-to-back years.
Where's he going to play, Shregs, next year?
Yeah, what are you hearing?
Sounded like on your show that he wants to be a Clipper. It sounded like it. And that's how he wants to end it, but I don't know how that all works out. I can't.
It doesn't. That's how.
Why? What are you talking about? It's Chris Paul.
They got James Harden and stuff. Chris Paul needs to come to Boston.
You want him to be as far away from his family as possible.
He needs to bring his family there, too. I don't know. What's the best school in the country? Harvard. You want to be close to that? Why don't you come on over?
Harvard.
Oh, you're a big
We're
Harvard
going to go to
guy.
Harvard for
really?
kindergarten.
You're a big Harvard guy, man.
Look,
You're a big Harvard guy. Huh?
I said Harvard because it's more mainstream. I'm an MIT guy.
Let's go. Let's go.
Dude, a technology guy. So I don't know what you guys are talking about, but also Cambridge. I don't know. One of the most up and coming areas, not up and coming, one of the most expensive areas in the world to live in.
Uppity, yeah.
That's why if it not as uppity as you think, but that's why if Chris Paul were to come over, I think it should be a match made in heaven.
Oh, that's awesome. We caught you. All right. Hey, Shregs, I appreciate the hell out of you, man.
Guys, congrats on all the cool stuff with the Concafa stuff, too. I was following all of it.
Man.
Shregs.
You were so close, bro.
Concafa.
Almost a perfect time.
Come on. I watched. I was supportive. You got to give me something.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's what's important.
Cary, North Carolina. My passport hasn't been there, but I will be if you ever invite me. I will get in goal. I'll put some goalie for you.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Learn the name.
Yeah.
Count it. Concafa has Stoner stood on his head.
He was the best. He was the best.
Stoner.
player in the
Yeah.
One
tournament.
goal the whole tournament was the last game.
Stoner was unbelievable.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
I guess Stoner also plays. Stoner's our goalie from last year. He carried out. Yeah. He stopped one with his face this year, actually. Just ate one with his face. I guess he plays striker, too, on some club teams.
What the hell? Why wasn't Stoner in then?
Yeah, so I guess his feet are good as well. And then Phil E was obviously joined our team, former MASL goalie of the year.
Sure.
Yeah. Do they allow 5-hole goals in MASL competition?
Did you see how did you see how the tournament ended last night, Strikes?
No, I didn't. I did not see this. Is this the highlight?
This is for $1 million right here. Bang, bend it around a guy. Golazo.
Oh, what a shot.
Yeah, I like the smoke that they had.
Yeah, that's cool.
And the
And so-
devastation.
If old buddy used his hand to stop that, would it continue the game or does it go count? How's it
In
work?
the
Good
box.
question. Is that a penalty
Was he
kick?
In the box. Yeah, in the box.
In
Did
the
he get a
box,
PK or what?
he would have been good. Did he have a penny on? Let me see if-
No.
No.
The guy running on the field has a penny.
Yeah, the guy who was designated the goalie had a penny on right there. He was holding it in blue. He actually was the one that turned the ball over before this on the other side. They tried to sub him out to sub new goalie in. So that guy right next to him is subbing in for the other goalie. Terrible substitution by Pumas. But this was a bobble. This was a botch by their bench. This was a substitution error. Is how they lost $1 million. They could have taken a shot earlier too. There might have been a time to maybe
maybe like have one, maybe a good opportunity, maybe have one here. Let's have one. But what
There's
are
a
you gonna
couple
do?
of those where they could have.
Yeah, they could have had one. They could have maybe really went out there and had one. I mean, that's in this tournament. You have to have one
Yeah, especially if the ball comes over and it's a perfect situation too.
to have one. You know, you have that ball, tied around, your left boot. Maybe a good opportunity to have one, especially 77 for Pumas.
Big boots.
Fat Tony.
Yeah, Fat Tony.
That was not his name.
That is his name. That's what he's called. He's the legend of
He
the
had
game. They
like
call him
11
Fat
names.
Tony.
It was awesome.
Waffle body.
I can't believe he didn't let it rip, dude.
He could have had one.
He
fucking
could have had
put
one.
it
I
top
cannot
ends
believe
against
he
us.
did not win the golden boot of the tournament. I need to talk with someone from TST and also Pumas de Alabama. Their skipper, their gaffer, is the coach of the tournament, and he does the biggest fucking gaff of the whole tournament. And they lose. So let's go.
It was a substitution error, Gumpy. We all watch. While we were watching it live, I see other goalie running off field. Illegal substitution as well. Just so we know, the other goalie was not fully off the field in the substitution error as the new goalie was being subbed on. So, I mean, it's chaos.
The longer you play in this tournament, you realize that the ref in the middle actually does nothing at all as well. I learned that when I asked, what does that guy do when Nani threw a punch at Breck Shea? They said, he's just there to monitor subs, not actually help or, see
You're talking
what's
about
going
on the sideline.
Yeah, in the middle there. He just stands there. He's great.
They also rule if it's in bounds or out of bounds on the near sideline. I think I've seen a couple of those calls made. Gumpy hates the refs at the TST.
I love that.
And I don't know if I
what
love
a
that.
great
Bro,
tradition.
why'd they throw that
Trophy?
thing?
I don't know.
So everyone can get a piece of the trophy.
Oh.
Like everybody at the tournament, all the kids?
All the team, the kids.
The
I saw.
pinata?
bunch of players on the team. They were all picking it up and like celebrating with their piece.
Oh, okay.
Like cutting the net.
I don't love
No
that.
way.
I mean, what are you
like
supposed
that.
to do with that thing in one piece? Anyways?
I would have had that thing on a flight home with me.
We'll
back.
figure out when we win it next year.
Yeah, we're gonna hang that thing in the Thunderdome right from the middle. It's gonna
you
be like
guys-
a disco
Like a
ball.
You guys need to
Disco
smash it
ball.
with a sledgehammer.
I can't wait to see the team next year. Grella out. Let's bring in.
Come on.
Let's bring in Big Tony. Who else?
Tony Miola?
Who else do we
Big
like?
Tony Miola is
Are
already
you trying
on.
to do the GM of the year's job?
I would never. Look, I'm not built for it, man.
There's one man that we need.
You see down there at the bottom, Shrags,
Who's it say?
general manager of the tournament,
Hell yeah.
Mike Foss.
Oh, Mike Foss. How about that?
We have Concafa has 2 representatives. Shout out to Big Ruggles. Congratulations.
That boy Ruggs.
Couple big time goals. Also, I think he had 2 or 3 yellow cards. I think he had 3. They only documented 2, so he could have got another one because if you get 3 yellow cards, you got to sit out the next game. So he definitely had 3 yellow cards, but they only kept track of 2. So he got a bonus yellow, and he was certainly trying to exercise that right.
Sure.
He is the gift of the gap, and he said he gets people very upset, very, very. He was actually walking one guy right off the field to fight him. And then as that guy was walking off the field, boom, we slide in right behind the guy, score a goal. I mean, it was like his mental game in mental gymnastics. He's a chess player out there.
Yeah.
Loves
His
it.
dreads does not like when his dreads are pulled.
They got a red card. I was super happy for him because he played on Nani's team last year, and they never invited him back. So when we knocked them out, he was super
What?
juiced.
Yeah, he didn't have a team.
Yeah.
We got lucky. That's Porch, who's an absolute dog. There's me celebrating alongside First Sergeant Pat Harlan, who gave the boys a motivational speech before the game. It was great to see him. Porch was unbelievable.
He is.
He's filthy.
I don't know how he didn't make the team as well. Porch ran a lot around people.
Zeppelin.
This was a great tournament. It was a great time. We were lucky to be there.
I can't stress enough how much better this style of soccer is than normal soccer. It's about 10,000 times better.
Always a walk-off. Always a walk-off. Game has to end with somebody scoring a goal.
No ties.
Black boots.
Yeah, Black Boots came back this year, and there's a Grella assist, by the way.
Nice pass.
Oh, yeah. Who was that against? Was that the first game or the second game where you guys won 7-0?
No, this is Soccer Roof.
Yeah, that was round of 32.
Didn't Grella assist the Breck Shea goal too?
Yes.
Oh yeah, the real good assist. It went off the goalie. Let's not act
Gotta
like
put it in the
Grella-
mixer,
Let's not
brother.
act like Grella fed him on his boots. Okay, he basically shot a little rinky-dink shot, and then Breck Shea, being the superhero that he is, came in and cleaned it up.
Hey, Big Meat, thank you for your service to Concafa this year. The boys are buzzing. All right, we appreciate you, Shrags. Maybe next year you are a mascot or a goalie.
Yeah.
I'm in.
What's the name of the team?
Concafa.
Okay.
Concafa. Oh, Concafa. All right, we appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen. Peter Schrager. Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.